Hi, I'm Lada from astrolada.com with your April 2018 videos. Saturn is going retrograde. We'll be required to work extra hard for the next 5 months in certain areas of our life and eliminate things from there. While Mercury is going direct this month, which is great news because some complications that happened the first part of the month will be resolved by the second. I'll walk you through everything. Just a quick announcement though. Making 30% off webinars that I'm making in March, one with Robert Phoenix on Chiron in Aries. It's only $29. He'll make personal predictions how it will affect you. It will be about healing something, healing wounds that have been deep-seated in us from birth, that are the most painful areas of our life. He will make personal predictions and world predictions. It's only $29 till the 24th of March. And the other webinar is with Krasi, Babylonian astrologer, on the 31st of March. Again, it's 30% off till the 31st of March. It's about ancient magical astrology for modern times, practical solutions and remedies for love, for heartbreak, for financial and career problems. So she will teach you how to make talismans, how to use astrology to remedy difficult situations, the way the ancient did it, how to make also special rituals in order to strengthen your certain indications in your life and in your horoscope, like love, money, you know. So do come and join us. Can't wait to see you. Leo, April 2018, and that's for anyone who has their rising in Leo, which shows the tangible events happening, their sun in Leo, or their moon in Leo as well. Especially women feel the Leo moon strong. And this month, as always, when the sun enters another fire sign, it really uplifts the energy of the other fire signs. The sun is in Aries, in your 9th house, Leos, together with Mercury, which is retrograde. But it's always the 9th house, another fire sign, Aries. It's very kind of, it sends a very good aspect to the sun, or to Leo, basically, to your sun, moon, or ascendant. So there is more inspiration coming around, especially the 9th position from the sign Leo. When it's triggered, it's about starting to believe more. It's about starting to be more hopeful, and probably from the end of March, those seeds of hopefulness will start blossoming. More sensitive people feel it early on. The sun enters this 9th house from March already, but it will be there till April the 20th. So you're gonna feel this new burst of energy, this inspiration. Maybe even the 9th house is receiving intuitive insights that are directly inspired to us from our higher self. This is the portal through which the 9th house is the portal through which we communicate with our higher self, so with divine consciousness and God. This is the portal of prophecy, of future planning, of giving us meaning to our life, and the sun wants to enliven that area of your life with new inspirations, with new visions for the future, with higher perspective. So when the sun triggers the 9th house, you kind of get out of your small detail mentality thinking and start seeing the bigger picture, and start seeing how the bigger picture, how it actually can take you out of some certain complicated situations. And let me show you here. You're gonna have Saturn and Mars in the 6th house, which is connected to details. 6th house is connected to being stuck in the woods, so to speak, and you don't see the direction because you're working out the small print and the small details. And the 9th house is the big picture, being above, maybe flying, being able to fly your to fly above the trees and see where the direction is taking you. But they're making a difficult aspect to each other, these planets, especially the first 10 days, 15 days of April. So let's see how this can work. This is a 90-degree aspect, and they're kind of clashing with each other. So there'll be a little bit of a dissonance here. Yes, there is, and especially because the longer lasting planets are in the 6th house. So there is some 6th house is about, you know, also about having to fix some problems. Sixth house is the house of problems, and you have very strong planets there in April, and actually Saturn entered there from the start of 2018. So you'll be asked to work on some difficult issues for the next couple of years. This year is very intense as well. But in April, you'll be given a higher perspective on how to fix those issues. The sixth house is known as the house of slings and arrows, of outrageous fortune. What is it? Like mundane things, like health problems, like debt, like problems of material nature that we have to deal with, of practical nature, fixing something doesn't work, improving our detail and our skill in something, having some enmities, because the sixth house is the house of enemies and competition as well. Is the house of health problems, is the house of even if there are work problems around you with two malefics there, if these have been escalating, and things that make you almost like get too much into your body and forget that you have a higher self. You forget, you're trying to work out those issues from the same perspective, you know. But now those planets in the ninth house of higher perspective, they challenge those kind of stuck situation that you might have in regards to health problems, in regards to work problems, and in regards to working out some other problem in your life, some enmity, some court case. Sixth house is connected to people suing each other, litigation, people fighting with each other in some way. Is the house where we lack balance, whether it's through health, whether it's through some unbalanced a relationship or competitive relationship, whether it's through being stuck in sixth house, the house of poverty mentality, or the house of problem mentality, the house of, you know, basically being stuck in some problem. And Saturn especially is a very stubborn, slow planet, so you're digging deeper into that problem, and maybe you're asking, how can I resolve it? And Einstein said you cannot resolve a problem from the same state of consciousness by repeating the same things over and over, which Saturn might be tempted to do, you know, and Mars there, another difficult planet. But yes, there will be challenge. There will be challenge, especially the first part of April, by those planets in your ninth house. But those planets in the ninth house give you the higher perspective, and this higher perspective can kind of almost shock you out. So you see like a different alternative now, especially the first 15 days. It might come to you through an advice from someone. It might come to you as a criticism from someone, you know. But it kind of chafes and directly creates a challenge, because it's a challenging aspect that can feel a little bit stressful at the beginning, but it challenges this small, narrow tunnel vision of the sixth house, that you're etched into the problem and can't get out of it. So something, this inspirational energy of the ninth house and this revision that Mercury is doing. Mercury retrograde is about digging, it's about your thinking processes, and your thinking processes are more different now, especially the first 15 days of April, because Mercury is retrograde. You're looking from a different perspective. You're more, your analytical mind is able to connect to the higher mind of the ninth house. Mercury is the analytical mind, and figure out certain problems and why they're not, and from a higher perspective realize what is blocking here, health problems, what is creating some kind of disorder or disorganization or lack of balance in your life. Sixth house can also be health problems that are like addictions and anything that is creating a, you know, lack of balance in your life. So you are able, through some challenge especially, to have those insights now. And when Mercury starts moving direct, hopefully to start resolving them, you know. And another way it can play out, this is more on the psychological way how it can play out, is by both sixth and ninth house are connected to law and legal matters. Sixth house is if you're fighting some court case, for example. Ninth house is the legal system overall, higher truth, and there might be some kind of a tension that is happening, especially the first 15 days of April, that you have to resolve, that you have to put extra efforts to, that you have to really pay attention to details. So if you're in any kind of court cases, or in any kind of enmity or fight with another person, which is the sixth house, you know, just be, and there might be like clash of opinions and what you believe is the right thing to do. And also 6th house is your colleagues and work environment, and 9th house is your vision. Is your higher vision, your belief of what is right to do. So there might be a challenging kind of tension between what you believe you should do, 9th house, and what the circumstances of your career are, or the circumstances of your work or relationship there with workmates, or the processes in your work environment in some way. So this can be like a moral dilemma that is happening within you. What is right to do in your career, and what the actual reality is, that something that requires you to make some shifts and changes there that are escalating in the first 2 weeks. But then Mercury starts moving direct, and at the end of the month again it will make a difficult aspects with those planets, with Saturn in particular in the 6th house. But this will be, it's like the final resolution if there was some complication with health, with career, with work, basically with working on some project, work environment, with colleagues, with some debt, with some enmity, with some problems. 6th house is all those problems we're trying to fix on a practical level. You'd be able to kind of reconcile the differences and to settle those things. There can be clash of opinions. 9th house is your belief systems, as well, and clash there, some kind of a fighting that's happening in regards to that. Maybe your belief systems and your opinions are very different than those of your workmates. So 6th house is also certain relatives sometimes, or certain enemies as well that you have to resolve. Or on a material level, it might be just working out some legal matters connected to debt that escalate the first part of the month, that require extra effort, so connected to work, or some legal matters, or some philosophical and moral matters connected to, what else is 6th house? Or legal matters connected to health as well. Or maybe getting a different, higher perspective that challenges you, how you're doing your health routines, how you've been living your life to reach that state of health, So the final results can be very positive in regards to those things. It's just while you're in the middle of it, it just feels more tense because the aspects, the way the planets interact is more challenging. It's trying to make you turn the direction of how you're doing work, or how your belief systems are, how things should be. So there might be a clash that either you're omitting some details because you're looking too much at the big picture, or it might be reverse. You might be acting from the 6th house. You're stuck in the details and you're omitting the big picture, and you forget to remind yourself about the big picture, and that's where you have the clash. So maybe omitting some details because of a big picture, or maybe focusing too much on the big picture, or omitting focusing too much on the details and omitting the big picture. Sorry. So you have to resolve certain certain challenge in regards to those two houses, basically. And 9th house is the house of apprenticeship, so working hard behind the scenes with someone. And 9th house is the teacher, so this is 6th house is the apprentice, 9th house is the professor, the teacher, the mentor, the one that teaches you. There might be clashes between, if you're a teacher yourself, you'll be the 9th house, so there might be something that you have to rework with people that are your apprentices, that you're trying to perfect and to help them perfect their skill and knowledge of some sort. So there might be clashes there. Or if you are the teacher, if you're the apprentice, the student yourself, who is perfecting or the subordinate, the employee, you might be having some clashes that are, of course, pushing you to improve a situation with mentors and teacher figures of some sort. But another thing that is happening is that Saturn is going retrograde in your 6th house, Leos. And Saturn will be retrograde till September, and Mars will be in your 6th house for quite some time. But from around the second part of April, Saturn going retrograde in your 6th house indicates that for the next 5 months after that, 5 months till Saturn is retrograde, you will be putting extra efforts into order and organization of your life, because a retrograde planet requires you to put 3 times more efforts. Something wants to structure your life as a Leo, and my moon is in Leo, so that totally makes sense for me. But the 6th house is about, it's a Virgo house, and Saturn is about mastering that house. So you'll be asked to master, maybe also through some challenges or by having more pressure on you from outer circumstances, but to master better health routines, to master more consistent and repetitive. Saturn works by, you have to do it if you want to pass your exam. Wherever Saturn is, we have an exam in our life, especially when Saturn goes retrograde. To pass that exam, you have to do everyday small efforts, not just go and break your back at once for one thing. Maybe April you'll have to put a bit more, because Mars is also there, so Mars requires even extra. But throughout now till September, a little bit every day to do something for your health. Take a walk, or eliminate each month one unhealthy food from you, or do some extra exercise, a little bit incremental, little by little. This is how Saturn works. But now you're implanting it, a retrograde planet in the 6th house, and Saturn wants to implant something lastingly, like a good habit in your health, that corrects, because Saturn is a corrective influence, some health issue or some balance, some lack of balance in your health, So now is the time, and when you do this, when Saturn is retrograde or in your 6th house, which is so rare, once every 29 years, Saturn is there from, at least from Leo, from your ascendant and the moon. The changes that you do in your health, whether you eliminate smoking or drinking or some unhealthy thing or some unhealthy posture, or you start implementing every day, and as I said, you don't do it in a way that you totally deny yourself everything. Gradually, Saturn wants to work gradually, when through discipline that builds up gradually. When you do that, it's lasting, possibly to the end of your life. You're not gonna pick up smoking, or you're gonna stick up with that work routine, you're gonna stick up with that new health routine that you're doing. So Saturn, and you're aware, this is not something that will come to you as a surprise for the next 3-4 months, Leos. This is something that you've known for a long time you have to do, and now Saturn going retrograde, it allows you to implement those things that you knew you had to do, but you never got around to, or you never were consistent with. Saturn becomes 3 times stronger when it's retrograde, and allows for 3 times more determination and diligence in regards to those health routines. So daily routines, some of you will become just cleaner by the end of this process. Some of you just will master the ability to organize your environment, or to organize your house better, because 6th house, the house of order, is the house of efficiency. To become more efficient, maybe your work position will get restructured in some way that requires you extra efforts to learn those new, and to make them a pattern and to make them part of you, so you don't have to put efforts after that. So the next 5 months, basically, you are pushing yourself a bit out of your comfort zone. Saturn is pushing you in regards to routines, health, in regards to order, in regards to making your work more efficient. Even it's going to bring you more work, because till you are learning to make your work more efficient, or to restructure it's more effort. Till it becomes when Saturn starts moving direct, you'd have mastered it, so it's not going to be an effort for you anymore, but you'd feel like you're left with so much more cleaner environment, with so much more better organizational skills, with so much more cleaner work efficiency way as well. But always Saturn tends to, when it goes retrograde in the 6th house, to increase the work responsibilities and duties, and this is what forces you to become more organized and efficient. And Saturn chops off, it's the death with skies, chops off all unproductive, time wasting work routines, or time wasting daily routines of any sort which are not productive anymore, or health routines as well. So you see, at the end, I'm someone that needs to learn to be more organized, needs to learn to take better care of their health. Saturn is about that, and if you're resisting this, the problems start coming up and they force you to do it. So this process is starting full speed from April. Maybe some new health plans that you've read about, some new from before, or some jobs that you need to, that something that you've been postponing, now you have to do it, something to fix something around the house. Sixth house is fixing things, to get down to the dirty work. Sixth house, the house of service, and almost like learning. For me, it's going to be to learn to be more clean, to clean around the house, to clean the garden, the trees, you know, it might be much more serious than that, of course, but it's something that can no longer be postponed when Saturn goes retrograde. Something that's been on your mind, I have to fix that, I have to, you know, deal with those practical things. Those practical things. This is something material, practical. Finally, Saturn retrograde pushes you to do it. There will be no excuses for that. And by the end of this process, you'll be like, oh, I'm so glad, you know, yeah, it was a bit hard. I had to kick myself in the ass, or circumstances kicked me in the ass, but look how much job I got done. Look like the sixth house of the servant is so happy with themselves of having achieved all that work. And again, if it's not in your personal life, it will be in your work, that your work responsibilities and duties, so daily routines increase, and the burdens of those increase, but you master them and you become better at them at the end of that period. So, you know, get down to work, guys. This is what you'll be doing. And if you're an employee of some sort, Saturn in the sixth house can indicate that your responsibilities increase, as I said, or maybe that you have to restructure. And Saturn, as I said, when it goes retrograde, is way more powerful to cut things from the past that are not longer productive. So it can remove a certain job or certain responsibility from your life to bring that is not efficient anymore, or some big restructuring that is happening at your career, at your work level, that you have to change, you know, but with the extra responsibilities. And if you have employees, people that work for you, then Saturn in the sixth house will require you to be more strict, more disciplined, to set rules, especially when it goes retrograde and it's something you've been thinking about for some time, something that you just haven't had time to implement correctly, or something that you have to redo again, to do more strict rules and regulations with employees, maybe to make them master something better, or maybe to give them more work project. If there's some problems that can escalate with employees when Saturn goes retrograde, this can happen as well. These problems again are about, because Saturn is this death with scythe, it wants to remove the dead matter that is just dragging you down. So it wants to remove the dead wood from employees or people that are your subordinates of some sort, that are dragging you down, or that are, or certain aspects of their work that is unproductive, that is wasteful, that you're trying to eliminate and you'll be doing for the next, or certain aspects of your work overall that you'll try to systemize, make more efficient, you know, more organized. Okay, and the last thing is Venus. Let's end with good news. Venus is currently going to be in your 10th house. Wherever Venus is, this is where good things can happen to us, where smoother things, where it's easier. Venus in April is in your 10th house, Leos. Well, you can approach some authority figures and you can have good results with them. You can approach some institutions where you can improve your standing with certain institutions. Some authority figure can give you a helping hand. It might be a father, it might be a boss. If you approach them in a very respectful and kind way and diplomatic way, which is what Venus it is, they will be helping you. And by the way, Venus is helping those planets in the 6th house, of where problems are, or enmities, or complications with work. So approach an authority figure, Venus, at the 10th house. Ask for help with certain work issue if it appears. They will help you now in April. Or approach some institution if you're having some debt to resolve, or some enmity. Some person in a high position, maybe especially a woman, can help you resolve such situation or give you some advice in regards to that. Or if you are, having some, what else can it be? I'm just trying to think, some health problems, for example. Approach some authority person in regards to health, the 10th house, or some institution can also help you resolve or give you some helpful advice, because it's a trine aspect, it's a helpful aspect in regards to solving that issue. But on the most practical level is basically maybe some authority figure or parental figure helping you with certain chores and duties that you have, because as I said, they increase. There is some intensification of chores and duties around you, of practical natures and responsibilities with work and stuff, that an authority figure or parental figure can help you solve and soften up. Okay, so I mean, I can talk for hours now. Oh, also the sun in your 9th house, especially after the 15th, 16th, the sun, there is a new moon. The sun and moon are together in the 9th house. There can be some new beginnings in regards to your 9th house, new goals for the future, new ideals for the future that you develop, new kind of visions of the future, new inspirations for the future after the new moon in the 9th house. Plus, it can be a good time for planning some new journeys, faraway journeys, foreign journeys, opportunities for you to travel, especially the second part of March, of April. If you want to travel somewhere, just like I need to travel out of state. So that's like not travel next town, but out of state, out of country. The sun and moon, especially after Mercury goes direct in your 9th house, so after the 14th, 15th, I would say after the 16th, basically, do it after the 16th of April, that you have the green light to start traveling and and some new opportunities to come to in regards to traveling, in regards to planning legal matters, in regards to legalizing something as well. Till then you are fixing all things that in regards to legal matters and planning, because Mercury is retrograde there, in regards to legal matters, in regards to legalizing, in regards to traveling or higher education. You might be like dealing with some complications because Mercury is retrograde till the middle of the month, making those difficult aspects. But the second part of the month, after the 16th, after the new moon, Mercury moving direct, these things start resolving and moving forwards as well. Legalizing foreign travel, higher education, matters of traveling, you know. So anyway, thank you so much, Leos. And I will see you. As I said, don't forget, you will get the inspirations. This 9th house is triggered. You'd get a higher perspective of how to deal with problems that appear. You'd get like a almost possible like a breakthrough. It might feel stressful, like a breakthrough to show you the higher perspective and to show you a different level of, to resolve some kind of problem from a different higher level of consciousness, from a different perspective, let's say. And it might first frustrate you and you feel challenged and like, no, that's not true, this is how I've been doing things. But then it's going to make you think and in the long term resolve certain things that you've been stuck in. Thank you, and I will see you next month.